We move on to more exciting news, I guess, in F1 that's off the track, and that is obviously Adrian Newey, the mega mind that has won many many championships with different teams, has decided to go to Aston Martin instead of
Yeah.
Ferrari, which is for 30 million for 5 years, big money move, and so I'm
Yeah.
not surprised that he chose them. I'm surprised he committed to 5 years. That's a long time, but yeah,
Well,
what's your thoughts?
How long was he at Red Bull? He's at Red Bull for quite a while, hasn't he?
Um, I can find out. I can quickly find out. But he always does do big stints. But apparently, I heard Christian Horner saying when I was watching the qualifying today, he was like they nearly lost him in 2014. So you're right. Was he there maybe for a decade, quite possibly. I think,
Yeah,
however long it was.
he's been there a while. Definitely been there a while. But he's been at McLaren, Red Bull, Mercedes.
Williams, yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
with the Williams, not Mercedes.
Yeah,
It'll
it
be
was Williams
Williams.
racing. Yeah,
It's all the English based ones.
yeah. So
The
he's done
ones that paid.
2006 to 2024. Fair
Jeez.
play with them. So that's a big career. And then he was at McLaren from 1997 to 2005. And then Williams, he had obviously a career before this, but he did 1991 to 1996. So yeah, it's a 5 year stint. But obviously, this is going to be the focus for him is not next year. I think he actually, because of
Oh yeah.
like gardening leave and how the contracts fall, he joins 3 months into the next season, something like that. Or maybe I think it's.
He has to have like a year kind of out, doesn't he?
Well, I don't know if he has gardening leave. I think he's got a pretty saucy contract where he's not like your average Joe, obviously, because who he is. So when he's signed, I
Yeah.
think he's allowed himself to just work straight away. But I think he's not quitting his contract. I think he's not quit Red Bull. He's when his contract ends, he's going somewhere else, and so it's very
Okay.
like amicable. But I think when I watched the announcement, I don't know if you had a chance to watch it when he did it with Lawrence Stroll. He was like they were both like this season's a write off. Next season, we'll just have a good time, and then it's like 2026 when the new regulations come in, game on, and so
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
So
quite excited for fantasy. Like we might get into the new like next year will be maybe really exciting because there's like four big teams like winning it now. But when there's new regulations, the first race,
it will just be a free for all. Like you
yeah
don't know what's going to happen.
yeah you'll have to really spread bet, like really cover your bases and stuff. But that's interest. But why do you think, in your opinion, do you think he chose Aston Martin over Ferrari?
Well, I think I saw something saying about how it's a lot of his choosing is because they're English based, as in like the factory and everything. The fact that he doesn't want to move his kids, doesn't want to move his family, like because obviously if we went to everyone was saying how he's going to Ferrari, but obviously that would mean he'd have to move all his whole life over to Italy. And
Mm,
like I was saying, the Williams, McLaren, Red Bull are all based in England.
yeah.
So I feel like that did probably had a big impact on it. Like obviously he's an older guy as well, but he probably doesn't want to be moving out there for 5 years, moving his whole family.
Mm,
Obviously the money will have some impact because it is a lot of money. I saw something that's saying it's like 3 grand an hour or something like that, something stupid like that, which is just unreal.
yeah.
But yeah, I feel like there's definitely because I'm not being funny. Like it's not like you've got Alonso there, but Alonso's not going to be there forever, and Stroll is just not. He's just not a good driver. He's only there because of his dad. As simple
Well,
as that. Like
I think
he's not a good driver.
I think that's an interesting point you make because actually it's going to truly show the test of like throughout the generations of amazing drivers from Verstappen to Hamilton to Schumacher. It's always been the argument of that it's the car, not the man.
Yeah,
But this is a real defining point in the sport where if they make the best car you possibly can, they built three new facilities in Silverstone. They've got the brightest minds. They've got the one of the best like mentors because you got to look at it as like he's had Vettel. He's now had Alonso. They
yeah,
behave really well, unlike they used to in their other teams because they're training that boy. Basically, is how I see it in my mind. And
mm,
now, if they make him a car where Alonso basically can win a race, win a race, win a race, it's one team strategy. If they're 1 and 2, every race is Alonso really gonna be like, oh yeah, go on, son, straight through. Like I just
no.
don't think that's something that can possibly happen.
Alonso is not the kind of guy. He's not the kind of guy to give up places either. He's not gonna. He's not gonna. If they'd be like, "Oh, we want to give Stroll a win or whatever,"
Yeah,
anything like that, Alonso's not going to do that.
I
Alonso's
think
not going
he's
to
I
give
think
up
he's biding his
places.
time. I think he's playing Lawrence Stroll's affection for his son. He's like I read somewhere he was like he was willing to give up some of his salary to get Newey to come. Um, And I think everyone's like, oh, he's being so supportive of the team, but I think he's like a wolf in sheep's clothing, and he's like, when they get me that car, Lance Stroll can get on the back of the bus because I'm at the front. I'm driving the bus. I think he's gonna like.
Well, he just wants to win, doesn't he? Like
Oh
he's
yeah,
like purebred, like wants to win, like pure racer.
yeah,
And he's like the old guard sort of thing, the old dog in the fight,
yeah.
and he's gonna be you saw like what was it? It wasn't last year or the year before where they had like a really good car, and he was like loving it, and he was
Yeah, yeah.
like getting podiums. He still got it.
Mm.
It's just he needs the car, and then I think it will show once because obviously they won't have a good car next year because it's not doesn't work like that. It's not that quick. But obviously, like the year after that, when they hopefully have a better car, it'll be good to see if Alonso at that point will be. What,
Will he be there?
43?
Will
He
he
might
be
not.
there?
He might not even be there. You never know.
That's
But
it.
he'll be. I think he's 43 at that point or 44.
Yeah.
Will he still be going? Will he still have it? It's hard to know. Like obviously, like we're driving, it's all about your action.
Very physical.
So it's whether he can keep up with it. But
yeah,
it'll be definitely interesting to see like how it goes, and even if Alonso does go, if they can manage to get a better drive, or not a better driver bin, but like a one that's on par with Alonso, or maybe they do.
You probably don't.
Who knows?
You probably don't want him. You want Logan Sargent. Oh no, he's quite expensive.
The big up Stroll.
Oh yeah, you want
make
someone who will. Yeah, they'll bring a rookie in probably and let Lance be the number one driver, and I just think that it's got to be the way. But I can't remember where I read it. Maybe it was on Sky who did the talk with him. But Alonso was like, "I'll be driving in next year. I'll be driving 2025, and I'll be driving after 2026, like when in the new regulations." He wasn't saying I don't think he said like I'll be driving with Aston Martin, which is an interesting observation. But he'll go to like a Haas, like they all do, like the old dogs will always go to like the teams where they want someone who's experienced in their ranks. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that because I think Alonso's like you said, hungry for it, and he wants to.
Yeah, I feel like he's still got the hunger. I feel like he's not like you saw with kind of like Vettel when he was getting towards the end of it. It's kind of like it seemed like he was just hanging on.
Oh, he looked wrecked. He looked homeless. Like when
he had all the hair and everything. Like he just kind of let himself go, whereas not like in a bad way. You know what I mean? Like, visually,
just...
like visually, like and like he it just didn't seem like he had like the hunger anymore for it. Whereas Alonso, you can still. Even though the car's not great, he still manages to get points and stuff. Whereas Stroll seems to always be like qualifying 15th, 14th, whatever. So it's there's still a bit of fight in him.
It's going to be an interesting story. Like let alone Drive to Survive's got a couple seasons in the bank. Basically, I think that series can keep going. But we'll move on from that. Because we've done a decent chunk of that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens this weekend. Interesting to see if that financially pays off for Aston Martin, because he might draw them a crap car, but I doubt it because he's won so much.
Yeah, you'd like to think that he'd be able to sort out the car at least and get them a good car, and hopefully he's worth that 30 million. So
30 million a year, just cook it. And you say it probably is £3,000 like a minute or whatever like that, but that's like each minute of each day or something. That's how we always calculate it. And like for footballers, we always say they're earning this per minute. But they don't work 24/7, 300.
No, exactly.
So actually, if you put it into like their working hours, I know like footballers and these people like don't have 9 to 5 hours. They do work 18 hours a day because they're always switched on. But even if you take away the sleep cycle and compound the money into those hours, it would be
still ridiculous.
Sick making. Good on them though. Fair play. Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to have that money.